welcome back, fixed blade lovers, to OG Blade Reviews. That's me. And what is unusual on the table today? Well, it's not so unusual because it's a fixed blade. It's unusual because it's a Civivi fixed blade, and we don't see them all that often. And you seldom see one in that configuration, although they've really entertained some interesting designs over the past few years that they have been doing fixed blades. They initially came out as a folding knife company. And they also offer us the Sen cut knives. And I'm going to show you a Sen cut fixed blade a little later. But here we have the Perfrico. And Perfrico apparently means, well, the dictionary, online dictionary, says Perfrico is a Latin origin word that means to rub all over or to put on a bold face and rub away blushes. So I'm sure it's got some, background hidden meanings for those that speak maybe the Italian language or one of the Romance languages. But, boldness to, get rid of timidity, maybe. I'm just guessing. Anyway, here it is, the Perfrico from Civivi. Say that 10 times. And this design here, this one happens to be in a milled burgundy G10 black and gray striped 14C 28N. And as far as I know, it is an internal design from Civivi. It is not ascribed to a particular maker. And it's unusual for them because it's a Dagger style knife. I picked this one from White Mountain. And by the way, this is just dropping. It shipped about a day ago. They started shipping on February 27th from White Mountain. I got this copy a bit early to check out, but just about in time to show you as it is dropping. And you can order these from White Mountain. And if you use my discount code OG-Blade, you'll get 10% off this or anything else you order from White Mountain at any time. I like the sheath. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And we're going to withdraw it from the sheath. It's a very nice fit, by the way. And you may or may not know that I'm a stickler for that. I'm losing the box over here that I want to show you in a minute. Hang on. Okay. So yeah, we'll talk about the sheath in a minute. But this particular model, and it comes in about 3 or 4 different flavors, I call it, has these chevron black and gray stripes, maybe Cerakoted on there. Has a burgundy G10 handle with lots of interesting cross hatches, maybe kind of a military sort of a milling in that handle. We've got some jimping here, and we've got jimping here. So it's interesting that there is kind of a tactile setup here where because they put only one edge on this for certain legal reasons, so it could be sold and perhaps carried in certain areas that prohibit double-edged knives. So this is technically not a double edge. This is unsharpened here, but it is so thin near the edge of that false edge that we could definitely easily sharpen it. I will likely do that with this on my, we'll see if it fits my Work Sharp Precision Adjust Pro. And I just got some really nice bonded diamond stones that I first saw on Jared Neve's knives. If you have that sharpener, you can get those for about $110, something like that. They're not cheap, but you get 3 high-grade stones, and you get a strop with some 0.5 micron stropping compound. Okay, let's get back to this knife. We've got a crowned spine where it isn't jimped, and let's talk about that jimping again. So if you pick the knife out of the sheath and you're not even looking at it, that's smooth. And that is jimped. So you can feel that's where your thumb goes. And indeed, when you do that, there's the edge out there. You can also feel with the finger. So if you place your index finger, or your thumb rather, here in the reverse grip, then the edge is in for pical. So pretty cool that they did that. And if you get used to feeling for those two spots, you will hold the knife appropriately. However, if you sharpen the false edge, doesn't matter. But you do have a good grip on it. It's kind of a palm swell here in the center, and it necks in near the pommel and near the blade, near the guard. So there is a built-in guard. It's moderate, but it will still keep your hand, if you're worried about that, from sliding down onto the blade. Since this is fairly smooth here and somewhat textured here. These are sharp, but they're not that deep. What came on the knife is a lanyard. I go running and screaming away from these because it's not a wrist loop lanyard, so it's not something that's going to hold the knife to you. It is more of a lanyard you would use if you're doing like batoning or chopping with it, where you want to get way out towards the end of the knife and be able to hold on to this or pull with this to get the knife out of the sheath. This is a large enough knife to where I don't think we need the lanyard, but they do provide you with nice lanyards. I've got this on the Tamashi by Civivi and usually most of their other fixed blade knives. It came in a little protector here with a little plastic protector over the point. And it will fit back in the box if you store your knives there with the sheath on, just barely. You get a sticker. You get the microfiber cloth. You get the little Civivi info. And you got another Civivi sticker. I got some of these up on some of my glass doors of my display cabinet. And that's what's in the box. I showed you the cover. And we're going to get to measuring this so you got an idea of the scale. And overall, it is, I call that 9¼ inches, just a bit longer maybe. If we use these guards as a way to measure the length of the blade, it's 4½ inches. The sharpened edge is 4¼ inches. Other measurements. We got inches, so let's go right to the center of the handle, and it's 0.73. You may say that's pretty thick, but there's your contouring. So that thickness is only in the very center. And it really helps you hang on to the knife. It's not a real super wide handle, so you might want to enjoy that thickness. Leaving it set to inches and going right there, it's 0.11 blade stock, and in millimeters, it's 2.9 millimeters blade stock. And that leaves us with the weight. I'm going to set it to grams, because from there I can go straight to ounces. So there's grams. Told you I'd be doing this, so I am. We've got 127 grams. Changing it to ounces, we've got call it 4½ ounces. Really not bad for a fixed blade. I mean, that's a decent weight for a folder, you know. Let's get that sheath back out again. And it is a nice, thick, solid Kydex. Civivi, to a knife, with no exceptions, has made some excellent sheaths. This is bulky and wonky, and it's a brick. If you want to wear it that way on your belt or on a backpack strap or what have you, on a molly, you know, you can. And it is the Terzuola. Yes, because Civivi uses only the Terzuola Tech locks. That's kind of cool. Push it down and it locks. If you want to really lock it, you loosen that screw and slide the bar down, and then you can't pinch these two wings here. And they're fairly difficult to pinch anyway. So yeah, your belt goes in there. This, I was mistaken. This slider here does not lock it out. This slider here adjusts it for your belt. You guys are probably already telling me that, but I can't hear you. The fit, exquisite. Couldn't ask for a better fit. You can thumb it off. Just watch where your edge is. So if you do put a second edge on this to make it a full double-edged dagger, it's not really going to matter, because when you push it out, you're going to get an edge top where your thumb is. The thing to do is when you thumb off that sheath, just get your thumb out of the way. You know, don't leave it there to come down on the blade. You might not enjoy that. So yeah, got double rows of grommets on this. So it is not a taco style sheath where we have fold over. It's more of a, I know there's another name for when they use 2 rows, and we've got 2 pieces of Kydex joined on both sides. Anyway, you'll tell me. Nice sheath, and it's got these scallops in here. You know, makes it kind of useful. That tapered sort of a sheath might allow you to more easily get it inside the waistband if you're going to carry it using maybe a DCC. You can easily remove this clip and put a DCC clip on here, put a not a tech lock, a ulti-clip, that's what I was trying to think of, or a loop, just a single belt loop, or you could carry it scout style with 2 loops. It's up to you. So that's the sheath. Let's take a look at a comparison here that is nowhere in the same price category. This is a dagger designed by Les George. And what is the name of this? It is the Galvo. Beautiful leather by Chattanooga Leather. He does also sell a Kydex sheath for this, but this is just a gorgeous, this is a work of art. It's $100 right here on its own, I would think. This knife runs about $300. This guy here about $70, $75. I will leave you links. But this is the Galvo after galvanometer, I believe. And there is the embossed George for Les George. It is in 3V. Beautiful knife. Comes with a number of different handles that you can get it in, or you can buy handle slabs, scales, in different colors, and swap them out now and then. Got a nice, I believe it's Cerakote. I'm not sure if it's DLC or Cerakote. Obviously 3V is not a stainless steel, so it's good that he coated it with the exception of the edge, and it is very sharp. But a very similar sort of layout with the way the guard is and the thumb indent there. You know, that's what that little divot on both sides is for. So for those that want to hold it with the edge sideways for thrusting like this. Speaking of which, no, this is really not a utility knife, and I think you know that. So, no, the Perfrico is not something you would carry to necessarily cut cardboard with, not that you couldn't. And if you left only one edge on it, you could put your thumb on the back and whatnot. But it's designed to be a tactical military sort of a knife. And compared to the Galvo, it's about 3/4 of an inch longer. Interesting. With a handle slightly longer and a blade, good, maybe inch longer. What is the blade on the Galvo? Yeah, it's 4 inches. So 4.5 inches on that guy. Although you've got a nice, I would call it a sharpening choil on the Perfrico. No sharpening choil on the Galvo. Anyway, apples to oranges and cents, because about a $300 knife versus a $75 knife. Just thought you'd like to see that for compare because it's such a similar design. Here's another that I like to use for Civivi compares. This is the Tamashi designed by Bob Terzuola. It is a traditional style tanto. Yes, it's not a chisel point tanto. It's more of what a traditional tanto would be, perhaps without that partial swedge sort of bayonet grindy deal going on there. But completely encapsulated tang. The tang does go all the way out to the lanyard hole. It is just a great knife in the hand, boy. It's a fairly thin handle and it's nicely contoured. It is smooth with the exception of the jimping here, which works well. We got jimping out on the blade. If you haven't tried out a Tamashi yet, this is both the EDC and tactical blade. And once again, beautiful. No rattle click on this sheath. One more for compare is the Sencut Waxahachie, I believe is what it is. I bring out the Sencut because Sencut is the budget line for Civivi, which is the budget line for WE knives. So they've got three tiers of knives. Civivi now coming up to around $100 on many of their knives, maybe a bit over, I'm not sure. They created the Sencut line because it's truly a budget. I think you can get this for $40, $50. This is a great buy. Very useful, clip point, Bowie-esque sort of smaller knife. I think this comes in around what, 3.5 or so. Yeah, 3 3/4-ish. It's a good length. And they've lightened it up quite a bit with these large holes going all the way through the tang. You can take the handles off of the Perfrico. I haven't yet. This just came in the other day. It feels fairly handle heavy, so I'm wondering if they used any lightening at all. You know, drilling holes through the tang costs extra money in manufacturing. So yeah, it's fairly handle heavy. The balance, you'd like it to be there, but it is not. You can see the handle drop. So it's dead in the hand. It's not going to be front heavy. It's a real thin stock on the blade, but, you know, we've got, you know, a thin tip, but not paper thin. Speaking of paper, they did give us a really fine edge on this. So it's a piercer and it's a cutter, and it'll do both. Oh, I just dropped something, but it's inconsequential. All right. Well, that is, let's bring the sheath out here to show you in the final shot as well, because the sheath means a lot with a knife like this, with any knife, right? Any fixed blade. But there you have it. That is the Civivi Perfrico. If you like this style of knife, I would definitely grab one, and if you want, put the other edge on it. I think you can do that relatively easy. Just match the bevel here. We obviously have got an edge we don't want to touch. That's about as sharp as we'd want it for a double-edged knife. And so this guy's going to cut as well as be stabby. Oh, yeah. 14C 28N. Not too heavily billboarded. And if you don't like that design, they do come in a couple other blade variant coatings. Be well. Take care. Right now, there's my logo. Click on it. You can be directed to where you can subscribe to the channel. Stay safe. Be well. See you soon.